All right, welcome back, Chelsea fans, to another YouTube exclusive on the London Is Blue podcast YouTube channel. It is myself, Nick, and Ollie Glanville for a Chelsea women's quick match review, hopefully like 15 minutes or so, for Chelsea's match against Celtic. Of course, if you are new to the channel, we are doing a ton of Chelsea women's content on this channel this year. And so for the midweek games where we're too busy to crank out a full pod or need a little bit of breathing room on this channel, that is what we're doing. So, look, we're talking about Chelsea's emphatic 3-0 win over Celtic to clinch a quarterfinal spot in the UEFA Women's Champions League. And there's a lot to talk through with this one. But I think, Ollie, first and foremost, between Man City and Celtic, there was quite an announcement. And it had to do with Sam Kerr. It just wasn't what we thought it was going to be. Sam Kerr and Christy Mewis, of course, announced that they are having a baby, which is wonderful news. Christy's now pregnant. And so just wanted to say a hearty congratulations to both of them. I'm already seeing backflips in the young one's future. Ollie, any thoughts on the announcement?
Yeah, it's lovely news, Nick. You know, when there was talk that there was going to be a new addition back to the squad, we weren't sure if it's going to be Sam Kerr plus one, but I guess a new Kerr or a new Kerr Mewis is great news. And yeah, I'm sure Paul Green is already on with the scouting report for years to come.
Just copy paste the contract, Paul. It's really not that difficult. Obviously, we got to get them through the youth system first. But look, with that announcement came a ton of nonsense and hate and homophobia and all sorts of other stuff. If you see that stuff, call it out. It is absolutely fraudulent to do that in the year 2024. It's predictable, and unfortunately, a lot of people had to mute their comments and mute their replies and all this sorts of stuff because there was a bunch of online trolls who were trolling the moment. I don't know about you guys. I'm happy when other people are happy and they are happy, and I'm happy for them. So that is where we're starting this one at. Chelsea did win this one very easily in the UEFA Women's Champions League. 3-0 goals. Lucy Bronze in the second minute. She thought the first minute would be a little too emphatic, so she waited till the second minute to score an absolute ripper. Vika Kaptein in the 25th minute, and then F. Périsset gets a 90th plus 5-minute penalty, just like we drew it up in the book. Ollie, read out the starting lineup for this one because rotation was the key word of the day.
Yeah, it was a lot of changes. So Z took back her number one spot in the Champions League this season. We had Ashley Lawrence deputising at left back. We had Millie Bright and Melis Mpome with their centre back partnership, the same as last week at Celtic. We had Lucy Bronze at right back. We have Sjurka Nielsen, Oriana Jean-Francois, Vika Kaptein as the new Chaos 10, which you've christened, Nick, there. Gura Reiten, Kat Macario making her first start in a while, and Yo-Yo there on the right-hand side.
Subs, Myra Ramirez coming in for Kat after 45 minutes. I think that was probably the scheduled change. Erin Cuthbert in for JRK in the 58th minute. Ev in for Gura Reiten in the 71st minute. Julia Bartel getting an appearance for Chelsea in the 86th minute, along with Lola Brown, newly signed 17-year-old youth team player in the 86th minute for Ashley Lawrence. Unused subs, Hannah Hampton, Katie Cox, Natalie Bjorn, Sadie Baltimore, and Micah Hamano. I was a little greedy, and I started off the show with too much excitement over the new Kerr Mewis baby. Ollie, what is your 3-word match review?
So my 3-word match review is pretty simple. It's the starting 11, Nick, and I've gone there for a little double entendre for our watchers and listeners here. Basically, it's about people taking chances in this team and showing they're ready to start, but also just 11 out of 11. We keep it rolling, Nick.
Just a casual 11 wins out of 11 matches played at the start of the season, just as we drew it up. Mine is the new Chaos 10. This was Shuka Nuskin's role last year, being Chaos 10, playing every role on the pitch, scoring goals, getting herself involved. She's now playing a little bit more reserved back in the midfield. And so who should step up into this role? That's right, Vika Kaptein, who we will talk about a little bit later, getting another goal for Chelsea. The stats on this one are pretty dominant for Chelsea in every regard. 72% possession, 4 big chances, 25 total shots, 2 goalkeeper saves, 15 corner kicks, 684 passes, 21 tackles, 7 free kicks. All this means that we go to our one random stat, Ollie, which we always do, and it is 0. The amount of socks that our manager wore on the touchline on one of the coldest days of the year so far. She then said, I hope I don't get sick. I was freezing. That one, we're going to have to clock that one for future use, okay? But really, I wanted to go through in the one random stat the amount of goal contributions that have already happened 11 matches into the season. Ollie, would you like to read through the extensive list?
Yeah, deep breath. Gura Wrighton. Gura Wrighton, 7 goals, 1 assist, Nick. Yo-Yo, 3 goals, 4 assists. Myra Ramirez, 4 goals, 2 assists. Aggie Beaver-Jones, 4 goals, 1 assist. Vika Kaptein, 2 goals, 1 assist. Micah Hermano, 3 goals, 1 assist. Lucy Bronze, 2 goals, 1 assist. Kat Macario, 1 goal, 2 assists. Lauren James, 1 goal, 2 assists, who's barely been playing this season. Shirka Niskin, 1 goal, 2 assists. Sondi Baltimore, 2 goals, no assists so far. I think she's probably deserved a couple. Ashley Lawrence, 2 goals, no assists. And Fox in the box against Celtic last week. Millie Bright, no goals, 2 assists. As we mentioned in the last pod, one of the leaders in terms of assisting in the WSL. Nat Bjorn, 1 goal, no assists. Erin Cuthbert, 1 goal, no assist. Keisha Buchanan, no goals, 1 assist. Oriane Jean-Francois, no goal, 1 assist. And Eve Périsset with her first Chelsea goal today, Nick. And then
that's right, an own goal. Own goal also gets 1. Just a slight correction. Vika has 2 goals and 3 assists, not 2 goals and 1 assist. So I think this brings us to the synopsis of this one, guys, that it was a relatively easy night at the bridge. I think our friend Jesse Parker Humphreys tweeted out just a casual 47 shots in 2 games against Celtic. I will say, and I think this was reflective of what should have been. Chelsea are a much better team than Celtic. Celtic did have a little bit of I think fight in them in these matches. They are clearly going to finish at the bottom of the table in our group, but it's a team that is relatively new to football. I think they've advanced a hell of a lot. This was not 7-0 drubbings across either leg, and so I think just a tiny bit of respect in this episode, since it'll be the last time we play them this year, for Celtic, who could have rolled over like so many teams who are at a disadvantage against Chelsea. They chose not to, and I think provided some pretty good competition on the other sides of City and United for Chelsea to really not be feeling themselves too much. And I think our manager, Sonia Bonpastor, had a couple of quotes here that set the tone for this one, Ollie. Really happy. We remain top of the table. It's something we wanted to make sure we had achieved. It's great news that we're able to rotate the squad and give opportunities to some players to play in the Champions League again. Again, future building here. We could rest some players in thinking about United on Sunday. And she basically said, even if you saw last week and tonight, not everything was perfect in the performance, but in the result, we were in a good place. It's good because it brings a lot of confidence. And so let's talk about the rotation. This is not something that she has historically done at Lyon, right? I think we've talked many times, have seen articles written by Jesse and others that once she finds an 11, historically, she rolls with that 11. This is an adaptation. She said, it's been in my mindset since the beginning of the season. We play so many games. I have to make sure everyone is involved. It's also the opportunity for me to show my trust in the players in the squad. It's also important because it's not possible for a player to play 90 minutes every 3 days with a lot of international players who play for their club and the national team. Also, Ollie, the amount of injuries that have happened in women's football over the last 2 or 3 years, which Chelsea have a fair amount of those ourselves. Thoughts on the rotation? Thoughts on the trust?
Yeah, it's imperative, Nick. Like, you have a squad this big We've seen it in the men's side. You have to show that you trust however deep the squad is, right? Because in reality, if you don't have that squad on side, they are not part of your squad. They're not going to perform for you, right? So from your most senior players right down to the likes of a Lola Brown, you have to show that given the right scenario, even today, it's like, it's 2-0. There's still potential for a comeback at any given time. Very unlikely given the kind of game state, but you have to show you want to trust these players. So just allowing them to come in and show themselves and show maybe something to surprise you, and maybe, it can inform your decisions going forward in terms of selection. That's vital, especially with a squad this big, Nick.
And some of the rotation that I wanted to call out for this one, Katmak gets a start. It clearly was a 45-minute appearance and not a 60, which I was kind of hoping for a 60 personally. But 1 assist and 4 shots in 45 minutes. Looked like a player who, shooting the ball, knew that she only had 45 minutes to get a goal. And I think was just ready, aim, fire from wherever. But, the 1 assist coming from a corner, obviously her delivery is well known and incredible. Thoughts quickly on what her performance looked like and how she might continue to advance?
Yeah, I think looking forward to Sunday, it's all about keeping her fresh as well, Nick. Like we're thinking in terms of steps, her getting back, at her best, she's a complete game changer. You think of her delivery, as you say, but also her ability to conjure a chance from nothing, her feet, her kind of shot power and ability to get out of situations and create things. Like, she is a key player for us going forward. So if 45 is that scheduled step, looking forward to Sunday, you want her to come off the bench and impact in a really positive way.
And she did play as a striker in this one, as kind of the leading number 9. Usually she's more of a reserve, like back as a number 10 and second striker sort of option. So maybe not like the easiest position for her to play, but still good. Our new Chaos 10, Vika Kaptein. Chelsea put out the stat pack for us, so we didn't have to do it ourselves. 9 games, 5 starts, 2 goals, 3 assists, 19 years old. Thoughts and feelings, Ollie?
She's a very special talent, Nick. Like we touched on it when she came in. Like she was a leader for the FC20 side that is obviously in our group this season. But she was a leader at 17, 18 years old. She's stepping into this side. She does not play like a teenager at all. She plays like someone maybe 5 or 6 years older. And yeah, we're old enough to remember when Sjökenusken was the kind of Chaos 10 last year. Now she's that kind of calming, assuring anchor to allow Vika Kaptein to do whatever she wants to do and cause absolute chaos in the opposition box. And yeah, lovely, lovely header for her goal. Her first Champions League goal for us. Just, yeah, wonderful, wonderful header, Nick.
She almost had a ripper, too, that was just over the bar, which would have been tremendous. But yeah, it's so funny because you're like, Aaron Cuthbert's the original version. Then we had way more mature now Sjökenusken at 21 or whatever coming in and doing that last year and being all over the place. And now you have this regen here, which is, Aaron Cuthbert 2.0, causing all sorts of chaos. I think winning aerials is pretty incredible for a player who isn't like enormous. I think she's relatively average size, but she's winning aerials at a pretty high rate. She won 2 or 3 aerials today. She obviously wins the header for the goal. Goal is great. What a player. Unbelievable. And then, look, I just want to give Eve of her flowers. She first goal, and I think her first goal in Europe all time for her. So kind of a couple of firsts today. She was only on for a handful of minutes in this one. Kind of surprised she didn't start, to be honest. I thought that this might have been an opportunity for that, but just wanted to give her some flowers. Insight number 2 in this one, despite the fact this was an easy win, despite the fact that Chelsea rotated, despite the fact that we won 3-0 in relatively comfortable fashion, one thing I want to call out, Ollie, is the attacking play got a little bit muddied today. The idea was clearly get in from behind or cross the ball in behind, because Celtic were kind of barricaded in their own half, and see if we can find that half space. And it didn't really work. Chelsea had 11 of 50 crosses completed for that's roughly 22%. And some of the cutbacks were just not there. It kind of looked like they had drilled something and then didn't have a plan B in some areas. Quick thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was more about how well we got to those final spaces, but then not having the kind of central target person to aim at, right? So Catmac naturally wants to drift outside the box, and that's not really that great when you're trying to aim for someone in the box. So what ended up happening was we were aiming for the fullbacks often, like way back post. So for the first goal, Lucy Bronze is drifting him back post, right? And then Vika Kaptein for the second goal. So we were not having as many bodies in the box, which meant those crosses were quite aimless at times. And I would say, like, they weren't bad crosses, but they were, considering there weren't many people in the box. It's like, it's they were percentage, right? They were aimed for areas where you expect someone to pick the ball up. And we saw when Myra came on, there was much more kind of stickiness in the box, right? We were keeping the ball in the box. Myra had her chance on the swivel. So when you have that target person to aim for, then that kind of game plan makes much more sense. But I thought our play up until that point, up until the cross, up until that final pass, was really nice. And there was some lovely movement involved.
Lovely. Yeah. So yeah, some of the movement was super crisp tonight. A lot of ins and outs, a lot of playing down the side. Like it was great. Sonia also added, it's really important because, first of all, the players need to be able to adapt and also be flexible on the pitch. It gives us the possibility during games and depending on who we're playing to change the system, the organization. I would say like this makes sense because we've seen Chelsea be a lot more cautious in build up. Today was not that. Today was kind of reckless abandon in build up. And so I think there's, something about the predictability perhaps that she was aiming to put out. Last insight for this one, Lola Brown's debut. This is a 17-year-old midfielder for Chelsea who signed her contract on Tuesday. Paul Green said Lola is a very bright prospect. We're delighted that she signed her first professional contract with the club at the age of 17. Lola then adds that she's extremely happy and proud to have signed her first professional contract. Being a Chelsea fan since I was born and playing for the academy since the age of 9 is a dream come true. The hard work continues, and I think Ollie, at this point, this is a very special moment for this player.
Yeah, I mean, and again, we were going back to saying Vika Kaptein's a special talent. Lola is very, very good and plays above her age group at all levels, in terms of domestic and international, right? We're talking about a very solid prospect. And yeah, Sonia, after the game, called out that it's been a special week for her, obviously individually, but also for the club. It's about fostering the fact that a Chelsea fan since birth in a very Chelsea family, she could not be more Chelsea, comes in and doesn't just get gifted this opportunity, right? She trains really hard. She shows her ability through the week. And then, she gets her chance. And actually, she showed some lovely touches that any kind of England youth watchers would be very accustomed to. Down that left wing, she was very happy to take players on. She was demanding the ball. She was telling Moira Ramirez where to run, not unlike Micah Hamano on the weekend. So, yeah, it's just great to see these kind of conveyor belts happen, right? Because we need that kind of linked up view between Cobham and the Chelsea women's first team. We've had it with Aggie, we've had it in previous years under Emma, going way back. This needs to keep happening because the talent we produce is exceptional and it needs to be recognized.
I think Aggie's 21, Micah's 20, Mika's 19. I mean, this is just the next one. And like, if you're watching this as a fan of any other WSL team, Godspeed. Player of the match, Ollie. We went with different options, although I think we both agree that Kaptein was great. And I believe that she was my player of the match. But you went with the other goal scorer who we did not quite have enough time to talk about here, in Lucy Bronze.
Yeah, I just think continuing on from Man City, it was just a nicely dominant performance again. She didn't allow any silliness to happen. She had Melissa alongside her. She swept up well. She was kind of commanding going forward as well. When we saw her kind of customary marauding going forward. and kind of overlapping with Yo-Yo at times. So yeah, I just think she's found that level with that Man City performance, and then today was just another step in the kind of right direction there. It'll be really interesting to see, as we called out just before coming on the pod, she played 90 minutes. So, what does that mean going forward to United, right? Because Ashley Lawrence played left back, left wing, right back, like literally everywhere today. So it'll be really interesting to see who plays fullback on Sunday.
Yeah, and so United coming up on Sunday, that's a big one. Obviously, this is the game that we were originally supposed to play earlier in the season. Chelsea now have that opportunity to get those points back in the league. Chelsea do sit top of the table on 12 points and have qualified for the quarterfinal. Yet to see if we will qualify as the first team or the second team in the group, but it's most likely going to be the first team. Who are we kidding? We still have another game against FC Twente coming up and Real Madrid to close out the group stage. So really, I think if you beat Twente, that's basically the ball game there. That's where the maths. And yeah, I mean, as far as Sunday goes, Ollie, we're looking at potential starting lineup here. I don't know. I think right back is really the only area that I'm like a little bit off, and maybe striker based on Myra having a little bit of an issue during this game. But I got Hannah Hampton in goal. I got Bronze, Bjorn, Bright, Baltimore, the four Bs as the back line. Nuskin and Cuthbert in the midfield. Canarid, Hamano, and Wrighton as your attacking midfield. And I have Aggie starting on Sunday. I think she's obviously suspended for red card silliness, and the last game against Celtic would have been nice for her to start today. But just Myra maybe as a super sub in this one, Kat Mack maybe as a super sub, Lawrence maybe as a super sub. Thoughts?
Yeah, I can see. I can definitely see maybe. Ashley coming on as a sub for Lucy Bronze, definitely, given how much trust Sonia has shown she has in her as just a closer in all areas of the pitch, right? So I think that'd be crucial. I have my very optimistic hat on. I think Myra, given that Sonia said she was okay after the game, and even though she did go down the tunnel, touch wood, she should be okay for Sunday. So if she gets the all clear, she has to start. I mean, Millie Turner will be having like nightmares about her right now. Yeah, and like Gabby George, who's been exceptional for United, has not played Moira Ramirez yet. So I think anywhere near 100%, she has to start, Nick.
Rut-row Scroob would be the way that I would phrase that up if you were a Manchester United defender coming against Myra Ramirez, especially after the way that we closed the door last season at their house. Stunning performance. So, look, thank you to everyone who stayed around for this short match review for Chelsea versus Celtic. We'll be back with more of these, especially for the midweek games. And until next time, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high.